I am extremely angry today. I'm currently coming out of my maternity leave to film this. I am 3 weeks postpartum at the time of filming this. Yesterday, I released my second novel, A Song at Dead Man's Cove, which was supposed to be a joyous experience, but unfortunately it's been overshadowed by the fact that somebody on Goodreads has been harassing me and tried to dunk on my book before it was even released. I don't even have notes for today's video. I don't even have time for it because unfortunately this person has tried to come after my reputation a second time and clearly wants my attention very badly. Here you go. You're getting my attention, and this is the last time that you're going to get it. So as part of marketing my second novel, A Song at Dead Man's Cove, I decided to reach out to book reviewers to get their honest opinion on the book ahead of its release and to get the name out there, to get it on book blogs, to get the word out about my book. I was trying to do just half an hour of book marketing every single day of the week, and it really did add up over time, and I was very proud of myself because marketing my books is my least favorite part of being an author, but sadly it needs to be done when you're an indie author. You need to get the word out there about your book. And I can even show you the note I have of all the different book reviewers that I found. As you can see, this note was created on March 3rd and last edited on April 22nd, meaning I have not touched it ever since. And it contains, what ChatGPT told me was a way to find book reviewers and book journalists, and then an email draft of what I would say to them, and then just a list of all the different book reviewers that I found on Readsy, including all of their information and all the different services that they provide. I found them through Readsy just by looking at review horror books, since my book is horror specifically. Some of them have already released their reviews, some of them are still in progress, some of them I'm still going to reach out to. Now, one of the book reviewers in question is an organization called the Chrysalis Brew Project, which again, I knew nothing about any of these reviewers except that they were on Readsy and that they review horror books. The Chrysalis Brew Project is an organization based in Australia, and this is exactly what I paid for. An editorial review in 6 months, plus 2 free nominations, not necessarily that you're going to get a specific award, just nominations to their awards, and a free PR distribution to 300 websites. Now, I was planning on doing a PR blast myself anyway, so I figured if this is included in this package, great, I will get a PR distribution in addition to a book review. There's absolutely nothing on this organization's website that suggests there is anything fishy going on. They do not promise rating manipulation. They do not promise using bots on Goodreads. They don't even promise a Goodreads review, actually. There's also nothing fishy about them on Writers Beware. There's nothing fishy about them on Reddit. So I had absolutely no reason to believe that this was anything but an honest review. Now, like I said, I reached out to many different book reviewers. And one day, after a very bad day, actually, my husband and I were driving back in the car after my unsuccessful ECV where they tried to turn the baby, and he said, "Oh, I just got your email blast." And I was like, "What are you talking about? I was not supposed to have a newsletter sent out today." And it was the Chrysalis Brew Project letting me know that they had reviewed my book, that it had won some nominations, and also that they had sent out the PR distribution to 300 websites. And I was just shocked. I felt on cloud nine that the review was very positive, that I won nominations to some of these seals and awards that they have, and that the PR campaign they released was so glowing. I literally was in tears. I felt like this is finally the moment I've been working so hard for. Putting in all that work into not only writing but also marketing that book is finally starting to pay off. Now, over the next couple of days, I also noticed that a bunch of people were rating my book on Goodreads 5 stars. And I wasn't sure what to make of this. The only thing I could think of is that the Chrysalis Brew Project has a network of a bunch of readers that it works with, and that they must have all liked my book. Now, maybe this is naive of me to say, but I frankly don't think it's that far-fetched because my book is very high quality, and you can read it for yourself and assess that for yourself. A week or 2 weeks pass, and I'm just checking into my Goodreads to update a book that I'd finished when I noticed that my book no longer had a 5-star average. So I go to click on it because I'm curious if any of the other book reviewers had completed their reviews of my book, to find that there was a very serious accusation against me on Goodreads by an individual who goes by the name LO22. This person accused me of paying money to a shady business to buy awards and reviews from them, and saying that I'm very happy to participate in this charade because I had, quote, quoted some of the reviews about my book on my website and on the book cover itself. They also called me scummy, insinuated I'm a hypocrite who lacks integrity and personal responsibility, and basically accused me of buying off bots in order to manipulate my Goodreads ratings. Now, I was stunned when I read this, as you can imagine, because I didn't do what this person is accusing me of doing. And I commented under his review of my book that he didn't actually read, telling him that I absolutely did not do this and asking him to please reach out to me via email so that we can clarify this. He did reach out by email, and this is what he said. Hi, Dr. Anna, I haven't accused you of anything. I just made an observation that the same set of books that are clients of the Chrysalis Brew Project have received these shady awards and are subject to the same rating manipulation on Goodreads as was your book. The same pattern. They got the same ratings from the same profiles in the same manner as your book, and the same awards that your book got. You said you had no knowledge of this, but weren't you curious as to how all of a sudden your book got so many 5-star ratings? They just appeared one day and you had no questions about that at all? You must have had some knowledge of the awards as you used them to promote your book, but if your info was really limited, then I can only assume you didn't do your due diligence and didn't research what awards your book is getting associated with. The bottom line is that this situation was convenient for you and you did not question it at all. In a sense, you profited from this even if you weren't the one who paid for anything. So I responded, hi LO22, what is your real name? Because I find it incredibly disempowering to be speaking to someone who is publicly accusing me of something who also won't put their public name and face to their statements. I appreciate you emailing me. However, you have in fact accused me of rating manipulation, and then I quoted the ways in which they did in fact accuse me of these things. Your review absolutely goes beyond neutral observation to imply deliberate wrongdoing on my part. After reading your Goodreads review, I reached out to the Chrysalis Brew Project to demand an explanation. You can find my email to them and their response attached in this email. As you can see, they are denying any rating manipulation, which I don't know what to make of, but I have absolutely no part in this. I've also attached a screenshot of my receipt to them, which details what I paid for, an editorial review, nominations to 2 awards, and a press release to their social networks. It never even occurred to me that I would receive Goodreads reviews. All I wanted was to get news of my upcoming novel to as many people as possible. The Chrysalis Brew Project was one of several book reviewers I contacted for an honest book review. You say that I did not do my due diligence. The Chrysalis Brew Project has a positive score on Trustpilot. The services listed on their website raised absolutely no red flags that there was anything dishonest going on. I looked them up on Reddit and Writers Beware but found nothing of concern there. So I ask you, how exactly was I supposed to know that this would happen? If what you're saying is true and they used a bot farm, then I'm the victim of a scam aimed at indie authors, not complicit in a conspiracy. You also ask what I thought about the sudden 5-star ratings on Goodreads. Honestly, I was elated and in disbelief. I kept saying I don't understand what's happening. I didn't even know that there exists a practice of using bots to manipulate ratings on Goodreads, so the idea never even crossed my mind. And I didn't know you could click on who rated a book on Goodreads to see their profiles listed one after the other. I assumed that everyone at the Chrysalis Brew Project and their associated book blogs who read my book must have discussed it in one of their book clubs where they vote on awards. You may not believe this since you seem determined to assume the worst of my intentions, but I'm not very technologically savvy and simply thought my book was receiving community recognition. I never thought I was profiting from something dishonest. After taking a look at the profiles of the people who left 5-star ratings, I agree that there's something shady going on and I want to rectify the situation. You also question why I've displayed the awards I received from various book blogs on my website. The answer is simple. I paid for an honest editorial review, and based on what was written, I have no reason to doubt the legitimacy of the feedback I received. The reviewers clearly read my book, and their responses reflected genuine engagement with the story. I did nothing dishonest by sharing positive recognition, especially as an indie author, trying to highlight the reception my work has earned so far. While these awards may not carry the weight of something like a Bram Stoker or Goodreads award, I'm proud of them. I've never claimed they were major industry honors, but I believe they represent an exchange of mutual support between emerging authors and niche book blogs. When a book earns praise from those who read it, and that praise is then used to bring visibility to both the book and the reviewer, everyone benefits. Moving forward, this is my plan. I will reach out to Goodreads and explain the situation with all my evidence. I will ask them to remove any ratings that appear suspicious on their end. However, I'm asking that you please remove your own review as well because you in fact have not read my book and made some frankly libelous accusations about me in your review. Reviews focused on the author's behavior rather than the book itself are against Goodreads policy. More importantly, I hope you'll consider the real-world impact your review can have. Publicly accusing an author of dishonesty, especially without direct evidence of their involvement, can damage reputations, discourage readers, and hurt sales before a book even has the chance. I'm an indie author navigating this space with limited resources, and with my first child due in just just a few days, I'm doing everything I can to hold things together. It's easy to forget there's a person on the other side of a screen, but I'm asking you to consider that possibility, that maybe I'm not the villain you're imagining, that your words could have unintended consequences for someone just trying to share their love for writing. If after hearing my side of the story you still believe your review should remain, I will need to address the situation publicly and share all available evidence. Your accusation and the potential harm to my professional reputation is serious. Please let me know your thoughts about what I've explained and your intentions regarding your review. I have 2 days left of work before my child is due, so if I need to make a video response, I will need to move quickly. Now, as soon as I said this, I knew that this was a mistake. I knew that I should not make a video response to this person because I had a feeling that this person actually wanted my attention. You see, this person clearly has a lot of time on their hands. They use their Goodreads just to shit on authors in ways that I actually find quite unfair, even of other authors that they've critiqued. For example, they gave this one person a 1-star review because the author gave themselves a 5-star review. And you know what I find to be very interesting is that in Elo22's original review of my book, that he didn't actually read, he accused me of being insecure that I must have done this. But it's interesting to me that he targets authors who are proud of the work that they've done, authors who rate themselves highly, authors who quote what book reviewers have said about their books. I think it really speaks to the projection going on here. I think that Elo22 is the one who's incredibly insecure if his immediate reaction to somebody being proud of their work is, oh, let me expose them for being a fraud. And they went to all this effort to research the awards that I received from book blogs and the ratings on my Goodreads, all because I guess it was just that far-fetched that my book would receive positive recognition. And no, I did not want to make a video response about this 2 days before my due date, as you can imagine. And in fact, I don't want to be doing this now either when I should be spending time with my newborn. But unfortunately, here I am. Now, this person really changed their tune in their response to me, and they said, "Dear Dr. Anna, I've edited my review to reflect your position. However, since some readers have already seen it, I think it would be in the best interest of everyone involved if you publicly address this. I wish you good luck. I have no malice towards you. I've been watching your videos for years now, and I'm grateful for the knowledge and information that you're sharing with us, and I'll be happy to read your new book and give you my honest opinion. I apologize if anything I said sounded harsh. That was not my intention. Best wishes, Elo22. P.S. Forgive me for not providing my real name. I prefer to stay anonymous online." Yeah, I think we all enjoy having privacy online, not having our names smeared online. I think we all enjoy that, Elo22. Now, I did reach out to Goodreads, and I told them, please remove any suspicious ratings that you see on your end. I specifically said I do not want to be associated with anything that is not a real review. I also asked them to remove Elo22's review because it was libelous and against Goodreads policy. I gave them evidence of my communications with the Chrysalis Brew Project. I showed them what they responded. I gave them evidence of my private communications with this Elo22 individual. I gave them all the receipts of everything that had happened. And I literally said, please remove anything that is against your community guidelines. Goodreads removed Elo22's review. They did not remove any of the other ratings. Now, I don't know what to make of this. Like I said, I had nothing to fucking do with those accounts who rated my book 5 stars. Nothing to fucking do with it. All I can assume is that if Goodreads didn't remove them, that's because they found no evidence that something fishy was going on. And they did remove Elo22's review because it did in fact break their community guidelines. Now, I had drafted a response to Elo22, which again, you can see on screen the date that I had drafted it and everything. Apologies for the delay in my response. I've been in the hospital since the birth of my newborn. Thank you for updating your review and acknowledging my side of the story. On my end, I contacted Goodreads and they let me know they're investigating the rating manipulations, screenshot attached. By the time Goodreads' investigation is complete, I simply won't have the time or emotional bandwidth to dedicate making a video response to this situation. My priority at this time is my family. While I appreciate that you've softened your stance, I'm still pretty shaken by the way the situation unfolded. I've been very vocal about how much I hate what bots have done to countries, consumers, and public figures, so it would have meant a lot to first be asked, hey, this seems out of character for you, did you know about it, before assuming bad faith. I understand wanting to preserve your anonymity. I asked for your name because in situations like this, it can feel like an uneven dynamic. One person is putting their full name and face behind their public statements, while the other remains anonymous. Especially when one person is making serious claims about another, that imbalance doesn't feel like a human-to-human interaction. However, I respect your desire for privacy. Although I appreciate that you've modified your review to be more accurate, the fact that it's still on my Goodreads book page will likely continue to plant doubts in the minds of potential readers about the book and my integrity. If a literary agent were to come across it while I'm querying, it could very well influence their decision to reject my submission. I can't stop you from engaging with my work moving forward, but I hope you'll understand that I'd prefer you didn't given how the situation unfolded. Regardless, I hope you have a nice rest of your week. Now, I wanted to sit on this email for a long time because I had a feeling that it was still a little bit too direct for this person, that it would kind of trigger LO22. But the more I sat on it, the more I realized I don't actually want to have any further communications with this person because this person does want my attention. And remember what they said in their email, oh, people have already seen my review, so I can't take it down. What they mean by that is that one person liked their review. One person had seen their review. But let's be honest, this wasn't because, oh, one person has seen the review, it's already kind of damaged your reputation, that's why you should acknowledge this. They wanted their review to stay up there because they spent a considerable amount of time, again, researching this matter, and because they have nothing better to do with their time. And they were clearly vying for my attention. They wanted me to make a video about this, right? So I sat on this, I sat on it, I thought, okay, should I email this person? Should I not? I talked about it in therapy. My therapist suggested, given how reactive this person seems, you might want to tone it down. For example, you might want to cut out that last part about, please just leave me alone. And I thought, you know what? No, that wouldn't be authentic to me. This is what I actually want to communicate. Therefore, I'm not going to respond to their email because I'm not going to respond with something inauthentic. Now, in the meantime, like I said, Goodreads removed their review, did not remove any of the other ratings of my book. And yesterday, my novel published. And day one of my novel publishing, LO22 left another review where he links to his original review, which again is against Goodreads community guidelines. And this time he also appears to have read my book, and surprise, surprise, he doesn't like it, which is fine. LO22, I don't think you're necessarily the most unbiased person to be reviewing my book, considering what's happened here, but you're free to not like it. That's not the issue. There are going to be plenty of people that like my book because it is a very high quality book. And this time it looks like they got 3 likes on their reviews, so that's pretty impressive. And also someone asking for them to reach out so that they can make a YouTube video about this. So here I am, seeing this at 8 a.m. the morning after I published my novel, which I spent fucking hours pouring my heart and soul into. After I spent hours reaching out to book reviewers, honest book reviewers that gave me absolutely no indication that there was anything dishonest going on. And somebody is trying to smear my name and convince people that I used bot farms on Goodreads. I don't know how else to fucking say this. I know LO22 says they don't believe me about this, but it doesn't matter whether they believe me or not because it's the truth. I had nothing to do with it. I had nothing to do with those ratings. I don't even know what's going on with them considering Goodreads didn't remove them. Goodreads investigated the matter and they didn't remove those ratings. You understand that? All I have wanted in life is to build a loving family and to publish books that I love. And this person has targeted the 2 things that I care about most in this life. They have fucked with me in the days leading up and after I gave birth. And they have fucked with my livelihood and my mission in life, which is my books. It is not censorship for Goodreads to remove a libelous, untrue review, and it is in fact harassment to continue to write these libelous things about me. Like I said, this is the last that LO22 will ever hear from me. I hope you enjoyed your 20 minutes of attention from me, and I sincerely hope you find something else with which to occupy your time and to fucking harass an indie author who is 3 weeks postpartum. Like I said, this is probably the angriest, most unscripted video that I will ever have to make, and I hope you can understand why I'm coming at this with the tone that I am. But please, LO22, just leave me the fuck alone. Literally just leave me alone, find someone else with whom to occupy yourself, stop watching my videos, stop refreshing my Goodreads page, go touch some grass, go spend time with loved ones, go find some hobbies, do something else. Just leave me alone. As for the rest of you, I sincerely hope that this clears up the situation. If there's anything else I can do to prove where I'm coming from, let me know and I'll do it, but I don't know what else I can fucking do. And please just know that I'm going to continue to write books that I deeply care about, and I'm going to continue to market my books. I'm going to continue to reach out to book reviewers. I'm going to continue to cite when those reviews are positive, because that's in fact what book marketing is. You reach out to book reviewers. If they like it, you cite it. You post it on the front cover. You post it on the inside of the cover. You post it on your website. That's what authors do, whether traditionally or independently published. So I'm going to keep doing me. I hope you enjoy my book. It's very, very disappointing that this one individual has managed to completely sully the launch of the book that I spent so much time and effort and soul putting into it. Goodbye.